Hi, welcome to the Introstat lecture series. And this video is about the lecture quiz helper. And this video, we are going to go over the lecture quiz number 3.4 and to help you to understand what was covered in this quiz. And hopefully, you'll be able to do the quiz number 3.5. And these two quizzes are very, very similar quizzes here. All right, so let's go to take a look the quiz number 3.4 here. All right, so let's take a look here. Okay, so before lending someone money, bank must decide whether they believe the applicants will repay the loan or not repay the loan or default the loan. One strategy is they use a point system. Loan officer assess the information about the applicants, totaling points. They are awarded for each person's income level, credit history, and the current debts burden, and so on. The higher the point total, the more convinced the bank is safe to make the loan. So any applicants with a lower point than a certain cutoff score is denied a loan. We can think about the decision is a hypothesis test here, all right? And so now, if the hypothesis test is whether the applicant will repay the loan, and therefore, so the bank will get the money. You get the money, also the interest of the money. Only person's score fall below the minimum cutoff point will be bank reject fall of the cutoff the point, then the bank will reject a non-hypothesis and deny the loan here, right? So what is a person's so when a person default a loan, which type of the error bank make? Okay. All right, so when we try to do those type of the questions here, then the first things here, let's take a look what type of the hypothesis this bank going to do. So let's highlight all the important information. So that means, the hypothesis here is the applicant will repay. That's right. Okay, so first things I will recommend you just write it out. So before you even look at the answers, right? So write it out. So the H0 non-hypothesis will repay. Okay, so alternative hypothesis will not repay, right? So that means will default the loan here. So this is what is your hypothesis. Then the next thing here, let's say how do I reject a loan if the certain points, right? They add all the higher the point is the better. So if they are fall below a certain point, I'm going to reject it. All right. Okay, so now in here, so you can also draw a picture. So you say whatever the points here, I'm giving the lower cutoff point, right? So this is what is my lower cutoff point. I can say it's x to the star, whatever the points, I don't know, right? So the lower cutoff the point is here. And if they are lower than the lower cutoff the point, they will be reject. So this area is my reject areas, right? Okay. So now with this cut off the point, I can also rewrite this. Okay, so we will say the total points, whatever this total points, right, is less than this cutoff point. This is X star, right? So this will be the less than this cutoff point. Then they will repay. That means banker will decide they will repay. That means the total point will be what we say. We always treat as equal. That means really is greater than that. So this is x to the. So if it's equal above the, the cutoff points, then we know they will repay. That means what? That means the bank will give the loans, right? So this another word here will give the loan, and that will not repay when will reject the loans, right? Will not give the loan. All right. Okay, so now let's take a look, right? So now here, this is very, very important here. So when the question they say, so when a person default on a loan, what type of the error the bank make? So when a person default on the loan, see here, default, that means this person. So let's translate it to the HA, HH zeros, right? That means default. So that means HA is what? HA is true. So this point, this person really cannot repay. HA is true, but the bank is still giving them the loan, right? So the bank is still giving them the loan. So that means giving them a loan is H0, right? So that means the fail to reject H0. Correct? So it's HA is true and fail to reject H0. So what is FA? HA is true. That means H0 is false. Then I fail to reject, right? So I know when the H0 is false, I fail to reject. That means they really cannot pay, but I let them the money, right? So what type of arrows here? This will be what? This will be type 2 arrows here, right? So you need to remember, right? What is the type 1? Type 1 is H0 is true, I reject. Then type 2 is H0 is not true, right? So the H0 is false, and I fail to reject. All right. So now let's take a look at problem number 2. See here. So let's say what kind of the error a bank miss an opportunity to make a loan to someone who have, who have repaid it. Okay. So let's take a look at here. Let's try to translate it to the word here. Bank missed the opportunity. What's that mean? That means H0 is true. This person, I really, this person can really pay back. They should get a loan, but the bank makes up the opportunity. What's that mean? So the bank is what? The bank reject the H0. That means the bank not give the loan, right? So H0 is true, right? So this means this person will repay back. In fact, this will repay back. I reject the H0. That means I'm not given the loan. Right, not give the loan here. So what type of the arrows we make? H0 is true, reject H0 is type 1 here. So you need to write the information and then think about it, right? Okay, so now we said number 3 is here. We said, suppose the bank to decide to lower the cutoff the score from 250 to 200. So that means the original here, I decided this is 250s, right? And now the bank said, all right, I'm going to lower that, all right? So I'm going to lower that. So here is so this was the original, what here, this is our original 250s, right? So this is 250. And I'm going to lower that one to where? I'm going to lower that one to 200s here. Now, what happens here is the alpha value. So we know the alpha value is the probability in the rejection region, right? So for the 250, this is my alpha value. I use the color code, it's red, right? Then when I reduce to the 200, then my alpha value, so this will be the green one will be my new rejection region. So this is my new alpha values here. So obviously the green ones here, what happens here has a lower area. So that means smaller, right? So what is the answers here? We're going to have what? The lower alpha values here. Okay. And now let's see here, problem number 4 is here. So number 4 tell you what impact does change on the cutoff values will have on the change of each type of the error. So I know from the problem number 3, right? I lower the alpha value. So the alpha value getting smaller, right? Getting smaller, I use this going down. We know the alpha and the beta values, right? Type 1 and the type 2, they go opposite direction. So if alpha go lower, then what happened to my beta values here? My beta value going to go what? Go up, correct? All right, so when my beta value going to go up, then what happened to my 1 minus beta? You know, if a beta get bigger and bigger, 1 minus beta will go into what? Become small, right? So let's try to put, we know the 1 minus beta, we call this the power, correct? And what is the beta? We call this is a type 2, right? So this is a type 2 error. And what is this alpha? This is a type 1. All right, so from the number 3, we know the type 1 decrease, my type 2 increase. So it's a decrease of the type 1 and the increase of the type 2. So it's D, right? Okay, so now let's take a look. Now in here, what is the meaning of the power? Okay, so the power, okay, so let's write down our statistic definition power. The power, that means when the H0 is false, then we correctly reject H0, right? That's a statistic definition. So now let's take a look, right? So what H0 is false. Let's try to translate that to the wording. H0 is false. Remember, the H0 is we can repay. It's false, right? That means this person cannot repay. Right, so cannot repay. So this person cannot repay. And what is our actions here? We correctly reject H0. So we correctly reject H0. That means we will reject the loan, right? So we know this person cannot repay. So we will reject the loan here. Bank will reject the loans here. So now let's take a look. Which one is the most likely see here? So the power is the probability that the bank denies a loan that would have not been repaid. The power is probability that the bank approves a loan that will not be repaid. So obviously this is not true. The power is probability that the bank denies a loan that would have been repaid. No, that's not true. It cannot repay. The power is probability that the bank approves the loan that will be repaid. Right? So no. So we know this is what cannot repay and reject a loan. So the power is a probability the bank deny a loan and will not have been repaid. So it's A. Okay. So when you just read the wording, probably they are very similar. So that's why I said the first thing here, you need to write down the information, then you translate what is that means here. Okay. So what could the bank do to increase the power? Okay. So now let's do this. I want my power increase. So let's do the same reverse. So 1 minus beta, right, is the power, right? I want this increase, right? So take a look here, right? I want this increase. If you want this increase, what's that mean? That means you want your beta get what? You want your beta get small. Am I right? So you want your beta get smaller, all right? So from here, these relations, right? Because the beta getting smaller, 1 minus beta getting bigger. So if a beta are getting smaller, and we know the beta and the alpha, they are go opposite direction. That means the alpha is going to what? Alpha going to go up. All right, so that means the type 1 arrow going to go up. Okay, how do I transfer the type 1 arrow go up? right? So this is my cutoff point, right? So this is my cutoff point, right? So this is X star. So this is my alpha value. So in order to have the alpha value increase, what I need to do, I need to move this one a little bit over here, right? X stars here. So my green area will be bigger. So this is my new alphas, right? Will be bigger than the pink area. So when you move to over here, what's that mean? That means you want to what? You want to raise your cutoff point, right? So that means what is the, what is the problem? So what is the answer? The bank could raise the cutoff the score. Okay, okay. So now let's take a look at problem number 7 here. Let's say, what is the disadvantage when the bank take the actions here? Okay, so when the bank take an action, that means raise the, raise the cut off the points. So what could the disadvantages here? So let's take a look here, right? So my original, so here you said my original, I will give the loan as long as people pass the 250. That's, for example, I raise the loan to the people to what? To the 300s here. So that means in this area, right? So that means in this area, I'm going to have, the allowed people, right? A lot of people, their credit is good enough, but they got what? They got turned down. But because the bank raised the cutoff points here, and also from the bank's point, right, they will lose some at the interest income they will get, right? So now that's what happened. A lot of people used to get a loan, now they cannot, right? So that's why we said, what is the answer here? So the answer is, well, we said a large number of trustworthy people would have been denied credit and the bank would miss the opportunity to collect it. So will be this one here, right? Okay, and so like so that part A is not true. The part A is a large number of untrustworthy people would have their loan approved. No, that's not, because you raise the point, it's harder to get the loan approved. So you're going to miss a lot of people in this yellow areas here. All right. Okay, so this is a quick quiz helper for the quiz number 3.4, and quiz number 3.5 is very similar like this quiz. So I hope this quiz helper can help you to get a very good grade on the quiz 3.5. Okay, bye. Nice to talk to you. Okay, bye-bye.